To lose a parent at any stage or age is heartbreaking. To lose them to medical negligence is enraging. But perhaps the cruelest irony of all is for a doctor, a practicing doctor, a qualified doctor to lose his parent to medical negligence. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo story. Our focus today is on the heartbreaking story shared by Dr. Ashwin Vinod, himself a senior resident at PGI in Chandigarh, hailing from Kerala, sharing on social media how his father's life was lost to medical negligence. An example of medical negligence so glaring, so shocking, that it actually raises questions about how many more lives might be in danger. Effectively, Dr. Ashwin Vinod's father died because the RMO looking after him in the Kerala hospital where he was admitted was not qualified to treat him. Even more shockingly, Dr. Ashwin Vinod, while still in mourning, while still in grief, discovered that the man who had been attending to his father in a private hospital in Kerala was in fact a second year MBBS failed student since 2011. It is beyond shocking to even articulate that this could happen. How did it happen? Is the doctor or the fake doctor, the quack alone responsible? What about the hospital that did not do any background check? How many more such fake doctors might there be lurking in both private and government hospitals? And how does a son come to terms with the loss of his father as a doctor, knowing that he was attended to by a man not qualified to be a doctor? Joining us on the program today is a heartbroken son. I want to bring him up now. Dr. Ashwin is with us. Dr. Ashwin Vinod, whose story I just shared with you. Dr. Vinod, or Dr. Ashwin rather, I want to say first how very sorry I am for your loss. Having lost my father not so long ago, I know what it feels like. But your grief must be compounded by rage, helplessness, frustration, because you're a doctor. You were in Chandigarh. Your father was miles away in Kerala. And your family called you up and said that he's been admitted to hospital. And you thought that the doctors would do the best they could. And then you discover, we'll come into the details later, but then you discover that the man who's been treating your father, in charge of your father's treatment, is a failed MBBS second year student, and he's been failed since 2011. He's effectively been running the scam since then. Your grief must be coupled with so much anger, so much, you must be blaming yourself also, as children tend to do. What are you feeling right now, apart from, of course, heartbreak? I can't even imagine, sir.
Ma'am, my heart is filled with so much of sadness, anger, regret because I, as a senior resident at PGI, has been delivering my duties to my patient, a place which is more than 1500 miles away from my home. And my parents are being taken care by a second year medico with such a poor academic record. Is it so irrational from my side to expect at least the basic medical care to be given to my parents by a qualified MBBS doctor?
It is so difficult to hear this, honestly, Dr. Ashwin Vinod. And I can understand that your heart is filled with sadness, regret, and anger. Because as a doctor, you try your best to look after your patients, and you would expect other doctors to do the same. Can you describe what happened? Like when your father was taken to the hospital, you were, of course, not there. Your family took him to the nearest, probably best hospital they could find. And at one point, the doctor told you on the phone, there's nothing more we can do. What happened? How did you discover that this doctor treating your father was a quack?
So my father met with this tragic incident on 23rd of September. Early morning, he started having this severe chest pain coupled with severe respiratory distress. He was not able to breathe properly. To a nearby hospital. So over there, he was not given the proper primary care which should be given to a patient with cardiac comorbidities. My father was a known case of coronary artery disease. He has been stented twice in the past. So the symptoms were typical of a cardiac origin of his symptoms, and he was not given the proper medication during that time. So that was what my mother told over phone. So, and after 15 minutes, there were no call from their side, so I called them back. So my brother gave the phone to this Mr. Abu Abraham Luke, who told me over the phone that my father was brought. By the time he already it was going at around 20 beats per minute. So he tried giving CPR to my father for around 45 minutes, and he couldn't save my father. So I believed him. There was nothing to not believe him at that time. I came that day itself by 10 o'clock. I reached here. I saw my father for one last time. Next day, we proceeded with the ceremonies. Few days later, there was another medical emergency in the family. We had a patient who developed low sugars after he overdosed on insulin accidentally. We took that relative to the same hospital because of the ease of transport. So over there, my wife noticed that the doctor's name, which has been displayed on the doctor's list, was Dr. Abu Abraham Luke, MBBS. So this guy studied in the same college as that of my wife, and he was so notorious that he was not able to clear the MBBS from since 2011. For the past 13 years, he is trying to clear his MBBS exams, still not able to clear his second year MBBS subjects. So she called up some of the seniors and her colleagues from the same college. She has passed out her MBBS, and he is yet to pass out. She confirmed with her colleagues, and they told Mr. Abu is yet to clear second year, and he is working in TMH part time. So that's how we confirmed. We also checked in the National Medical Council's list of registered medical practitioners. We couldn't find his name in that list also.
And then? That's when you got suspicious, of course. And then what happened? Yes.
Yeah. So we went ahead. We complained to the hospital authorities of TMH Hospital.
Okay, we just lost the connection to Dr. Ashwin Vinod there, but I can see that he is reconnecting. But if you are listening to this, you are let me just add him, please. If you're listening to this, you're listening to the story of a heartbroken, devastated son who discovered that the man attending to his father, whom he thought was a qualified doctor, was in fact a failed second-year MBBS student since 2011. So go ahead, Dr. Vinod. You were saying that your suspicions began when your wife saw his name and she remembered him to be from her own college. And she remembered that he had not passed the exams even back then. So then you started checking up on him. So go ahead. Yes. What happened next?
So we even called up that medical college. Unofficially, we found out from their office staff that he is still yet to clear his MBBS second year exams. And then we checked in the National Medical Council's list of registered medical practitioners. We could not find this Mr. Abu Abraham's name in that list. So our suspicions were confirmed. We went ahead and complained to the hospital authorities. We confronted them. We asked them whether Dr. Abu was unqualified at the time of my father's treatment. They did not respond during that time. They took my number. They promised me that they will call me back, but I didn't receive any call till next day. So by that time, I went to the police authorities, local police station. I filed a complaint against both this Mr. Abu Abraham Luke for gross medical negligence and against the TMH Hospital for employing such an unexperienced, unethical medical student for managing my father.
Now, you took to social media to raise some very pertinent questions. Of course, right now you're thinking as a son, but you're also a doctor. And that's what makes what's happened so very cruel and ironic. You said Did the hospital not check him? How has he got away for so many years brandishing a fake degree? Who else
Yes.
is involved? How many other lives are endangered? Have you been able to have you been able to get any answer from the hospital? Have they given you any explanation as to how this happened?
So the next day after the police investigation began, I got a call from the hospital management, one Mr. Manoj. He called me up. He said that, sir, आपका पैर पकड़ता हूँ. Please don't proceed with this lawsuit. So I said, my father is not going to come back, but I need to ensure that not a single person is going to meet the same fate as that of my father's ever again in this country. So that was my aim when I proceeded with this lawsuit. They tried to compromise this issue, but I did not allow them to compromise. Uh, they said that this person has been working there for the past 4 to 5 years, and they never faced any issues with the same fake doctor. And apparently, he worked in some other private hospitals also prior to joining this TMH hospital. That is what he said to me over phone.
So, in other words, this fake doctor has done this at other hospitals before. And we don't know
Yeah,
how many more lives may have been lost by this unqualified because of this unqualified doctor. And there could be others like him.
yeah. So what I came to know is that this practice of colloquially they call it as GP practice by the MBBS student. So in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, it's very rampant. You can find these second year MBBS students, third year students, and fourth year students working as duty RMOs at a cheap rate compared to the qualified MBBS doctors. And all these private hospitals during their night duty employ these MBBS students at half or even quarter of what they pay for a qualified MBBS doctor. It's a very rampant practice across Kerala. That is what I came to
So
know
you
after this
so
incident.
you are saying that private hospitals actually hire these unqualified or underqualified doctors to save money.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
That is disgusting and shocking. As a doctor and as a son, what does this make you feel? I mean, I'm getting so angry thinking about it. I can't even imagine the anger in your heart because all of these private hospitals mostly are hugely lucrative. They make tons of money and they're cutting corners by playing with lives of people. If this is happening, as you say, it's happening, that basically the night shifts that other doctors don't want to do, they pass off these underqualified or unqualified doctors to save money, which actually implies that this is not a mistake. This is criminal negligence. This is, if true, culpable homicide.
Yeah.
You wrote very movingly about an 18-hour journey that you did from Chandigarh to Kozhikode. You reached your home. You said you saw your father's lifeless body. The greatest fear that you had as a doctor had come true. It had become a painful reality. And how much you regretted that your family took your father to this particular hospital. How old was your father, sir?
He was about to turn 60 in February of next year.
I'm so sorry. You know that makes him only 8 years older than me. I'm 52. He was young. Your father was young. I'm so, so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
No issues.
You're a brave son to be fighting for other patients and for justice even in this hour of loss.
One day I'm speaking with my father, and the next day I'm lighting his funeral pyre. I never thought this will happen. We had such a hearty conversation one day back. 2 days prior to his death, it was my birthday. We had such a long conversation.
It was your birthday 2 days before he died?
Yeah, it was on 21st of September. My wife's birthday was on 26th of September. My father wished her an advance happy birthday on my birthday. I don't know. He might be knowing these things, but she he wished her an advance happy birthday on the day of my birthday.
He was only going to be 60.
Yeah.
Now that you have a better understanding of his, and I'm so sorry, I know how difficult it must be for you to do this, and I salute you once again for, through your tears, agreeing to do it for the larger cause and for justice for your father. He was only 60. He was only 60. He was young. He did not really have something that could not have been sorted out had there been a qualified doctor to attend to him. That is what we have to emphasize. Your father would have been alive had there been a qualified doctor there.
Yeah, ma'am, I did my MD from AIIMS Delhi, and there I have managed to save multiple patients who presented with cardiopulmonary distress. Multiple patients, hundreds of patients in that emergency department, I have brought back from death into life. So it's not at all irrational for me to expect at least 1% of that care I have given to my patient.
Basically, you have saved patients from the same problem that your father had.
Yeah. I'm not saying all of them can be saved, but at least we need to give him a fighting chance. Someone who is qualified enough should have seen my father, not by a second year MBBS student, not by a second year MBBS student.
I don't know what to say to you because my heart is just breaking for you at this point. I'm so sorry, Dr. Ashwin. I'm so sorry. And I share your pain and your anger and your sense of desolation and your sense of helplessness and your sense of self. I know you're asking yourself, why did I let them, my family send him to this hospital? I have some sense of everything you're feeling. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I I want to ask you, what would justice look like now? What would it feel? I mean, nothing is going to bring your dad back, right? But what would justice look like to you?
I need to ensure that the same fate is not faced by anyone else in this entire country. So I am going ahead with this lawsuit against both the hospital managements of employing such an unqualified person and against the same uh, quack who has treated my father. So this will be an example for all those people who dare to play with people's life. So I will
And
ensure that justice is served.
I want to ask you in the end that, we've just seen this massive protest by doctors, which we have supported after what happened in Kolkata.
Yeah.
And here a doctor's family can't get the treatment that they should. And it points to an underbelly of a wider scam. How could it happen? There is a larger scam here. As you said, you believe that private hospitals are doing this to save a quick buck.
Yeah. They don't care for people's life. They only care for the money.
I want to say to you that your father would be very proud of you.
Thank you, ma'am.
May God bless him and give you strength. And we are with you in this fight. I know it feels lonely, but we are with you. Please keep us posted at every stage. And we will raise our voice along with your voice in seeking justice for your father and for anybody else who may be at the hands of such underqualified and unqualified doctors. It is simply the most shocking thing I've heard and witnessed in years. God bless you, Dr. Ashwin. And I know those tears, they'll come, they'll go. It's okay to cry, you know. It's okay to cry, because I don't even know how you're fighting the good fight right now, given the heartbreak you must be going through. God bless you, Dr. Vinod. Dr. Ashwin Vinod.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Take care. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.